DDG episode 227, right? 7?
Yes, 227, like
sure?
the TV show.
Okay.
We're good.
I don't understand that reference, but it's
80s TV show before
okay.
my time,
okay.
maybe before your time.
Yeah. Digital Days Gaming episode 227. My name is Dave, and I'm joined by Michael.
I think it had them made from the Jeffersons as well as like a side character. I don't know if it was a spin-off, but it's a show. It exists. I should know about it because I it's way past my time. But yeah, I'm Michael Swick. How you doing? You should know about the show because you're older.
I was like 7 when the 80s ended. Leave me alone.
Hold on. 227. Okay, it's a show. You know, it's a late news week, Dave. So we can look up when 227. 227 was from 1985 to 1990. So
7 years old when it ended.
Okay, I was when it ended 6 months, 7 months. And I don't even think it was that popular to be on like Nick at Night. It might have been. I don't know. Columbia Pictures Television, so maybe. Yeah, I don't know if that would be Nick at Night. No, yeah, it would be Viacom. Yeah, it would
maybe.
be.
So
Okay.
all right, so we are Digital Days Gaming. We are a weekly podcast that posts Thursday morning, 6 a.m. Eastern Time on podcast services. If you listen to us on one of those services and you're able to leave us a review, please consider doing so. Leaving a review with words is also helpful. And Angela's now telling me it's episode 226. But so
could be wrong, could be right. I don't know.
We'll see how this goes.
It is 226. That's just funny for Dave because we argued for a couple minutes before what episode it was.
Oh
but I'll
gosh.
fix that later.
Jesus Christ.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. I'm surrounded, myself included, by just shenanigans and hooligans.
Yeah. That we've been doing this too long. We don't know what episode number we're on. So yeah.
So if you're still listening and you can count with your hands and toes or whatever, and we're apparently on 226. If you've listened to us 226 times and haven't left us a review, please consider leaving us a review so that I can actually keep better track of what the numbers are. And you can do that by it'll move us up higher in the chart, so I'll see it on my own algorithm. Maybe, I don't know. I'm just trying to segue as well as I can. So
terrible segue, but don't hold.
Nobody
that
asked you. You're the one that I'm relying on for what episode we're on.
And I mean, you should know, Dave. You're here every week.
So are you.
You've been here 226 weeks.
I've missed. So that my counts are off. So.
That's why it was 225 for 2 weeks then. Okay, that makes sense.
All right, you can also
watch.
Actually,
I missed a week too, so I think that evens out.
Oh my gosh, this is why we probably never should have numbered them in the first place.
Probably not.
You can watch us live on Twitch, twitch.tv/digitaldaysgaming, or on YouTube, youtube.com/digitaldaysgaming. You can watch the Twitch VOD if you're not catching it live. You can also watch the YouTube live, or you can watch the replay on YouTube, as well as the audio-only video version. That sounds weird to say, but it's what it is. And everything else is linked in the show notes. Discord, Facebook group, social medias, Twitter, all that stuff is linked in the show notes. And we're going to jump into the news, which is very light.
Yeah, it is a very light news week. The first thing we're going to talk about is kind of surprising, which is why we don't usually talk about the numbers unless it's a light news week. But this one was interesting because the May NPDs came out, and Ghost of Tsushima was number 1 in May. So these are the NPD. It's now known as Circana, which I feel like I will permanently always have to remind people that, because NPD is just kind of like what we've known this for forever. So their numbers include digital platforms as well as physical platforms or retailers, stores. So they count Steam numbers. I believe on PC, like the digital that they're counting is only Steam. So they don't count Epic Games or anything else when they do the digital numbers. This also does not include Nintendo eShop numbers, but it includes every other platform's digital shops. So yeah, Ghost of Tsushima was number 1. This is right around the time it was released for PC. So it got a crazy boost from that. The previous month, Ghost of Tsushima was 71, and it jumped all the way to number 1. Big part due to the PC release for the game. New games on the list include Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door, which debuted at number 2. And again, this doesn't include Nintendo's eShop sales, so
which probably leads me to believe that it beat Ghosts, but okay.
Yeah, or at least was pretty close. Other than that, Helldivers was number 4 in May, which is pretty good considering I believe that was a little around that time of the big controversy with Helldivers, but it didn't slow it down too much. And that, along with Elden Ring at number 8, were like the notable things. So people picked up Elden Ring pretty heavy before the big release of the DLC, which would have been about a month and a half after this. But yeah, those are the NPDs. Ghost of Tsushima. This is the thing me and Dave are always talking about. There's a big reason why Sony is releasing games on the PC.
Free money.
Is because it gets big boosts like this.
Free money. Especially for a PS5 version of everything we've heard about development cycles of them being so close on parallel lines between Xbox, PC, and PlayStation. I don't think that when they made the PS5 upgraded version, the director's cut or whatever it's called, I just don't think that this was like this big cumbersome challenge to port. Probably didn't cost them very much. And sure, whatever, 2 years, 3 years, however old Ghost of Tsushima is, it's obviously showing that there is a demand for PlayStation games like to be on other platforms. Now, I understand that Sony's number one priority is selling their boxes, but that priority is starting to blur, and it's going to keep blurring faster and faster. I mean, this year alone, Helldivers and now Ghost of Tsushima and something else, God of War, right? We got Ragnarok coming out this fall. Like that's going to destroy all of these.
Yeah, it has, especially because the OG God of War was on PC, so it got to build a new fan base.
Yep. It's going to be like the first sequel on PC, right?
Yeah, because I guess if you count Miles Morales, but I think they came out around the same time, remastered and Miles. So full sequel,
right?
I would say.
So Miles is a good game. So
it's a good game, but it didn't feel like a full sequel.
And I think it was kind of packaged, wasn't it? Didn't you buy some big collection? And maybe I mean, I know you could on PlayStation. I don't know if you could on PC or not.
Yeah, I forget exactly how it was rolled out for PC.
Right. So, but I mean, it's super interesting. I mean, the chatter that I've seen this week with these numbers coming out was like Helldivers 2 was only like 12th or something like that, or 12th or 14th, and there've been a whole, or not Helldivers. Crap.
Video game.
Hellblade.
Yeah.
Hellblade 2 or that didn't, and we don't hear them. We're not hearing Microsoft talk about Game Pass numbers, but at the same time, what Hellblade is, that's just such a hard. I hate that argument. That's a hard thing to say, just because Hellblade doesn't appeal to me, but it appeals to you, Michael. Somewhat.
Yeah.
It's more of a niche audience, and that game was not designed. I don't care how long it took. I don't care who's making it. That game was not designed to go toe to toe with a God of War and an Uncharted and a Ghost of Tsushima. It's its own unique storytelling bit that now is owned by a company that is in a different direction. Like,
yeah, that game specifically reminds me of stuff that PlayStation used to do. That felt like a Heavy Rain sort of project, a Quantic Dream sort of.
And none of that is bad. It's just a matter of like how it's like, oh, it's a Microsoft owned studio, so it has to be this gangbuster, and that is not Microsoft's philosophy right now. Like, we know the Jim Ryan era is he wanted everything to sell 15 million copies in 90 days. That is not the direction that Microsoft wants to go. Like, they just want to go with, please don't cancel Game Pass.
Well, they want it. They're going for subscribers, not sales. But if you look at this chart, it's the top 20. Sea of Thieves was number 6, up from number 4. So, like, Sea of Thieves coming to PlayStation was a big boost for that game. Also, technically now Microsoft, according to this list, is Fallout 4, which was like number 11. So, like, Microsoft is seeing some sales. Like, Hellblade wasn't out at this point, but like you're seeing
Hellblade
some of those
May
acquisitions.
Or June? I'm sorry.
This is May, so and that was mid-June or something like that.
Was it?
But this is one of those things where you're seeing, at least on Microsoft's end, of just like, hey, Sea of Thieves is getting a boost going multi-platform, and then you're going to see Fallout 4 get its boost from the TV show. So it's
Hellblade came out May 21st.
May 21st. Oh, so then they just didn't make the top 20.
Yeah, I thought it was like maybe it was number 12 for Xbox or something. Okay.
It might have been in Europe. Europe has the weekly numbers, and I remember there being controversy. It didn't do well in Europe. But yeah, Hellblade's not on here, but that's not exactly what they're doing. And also, like, if it's only available on Xbox,
right?
I would imagine
Xbox and PC, but still Xbox, yes.
Yeah, but like Xbox at this point, like, probably doesn't even put a lot of physical copies out for anything, or like the digital stores on Steam aren't really trying to get Hellblade right now. Like, if you have an Xbox, you have Game Pass, because there's kind of no reason to own an Xbox if you don't have Game Pass.
Right.
They're doing a thing where Xbox is the Xbox console is synonymous with Game Pass. If you have an Xbox and you don't have Game Pass, it's like, why do you have an Xbox? Because like the cost does not like work out if you just own an Xbox without Game Pass. Like those two things have to go hand in hand. You know, we look at the PlayStation side. It's like you have a PlayStation, you don't have to have PlayStation Plus to have a good time.
Right.
But on Xbox, it definitely is like if you don't have that subscription, you're not having a good time with your Xbox. To be honest, I stopped subbing to Game Pass, and I haven't turned my Xbox on in a couple weeks. You know, it's one of those things where it's like if I don't have the subscription, I'm not really messing with it.
And nothing's drawing your attention though. As soon as something draws your attention, you would re-up or just buy the game.
Yeah,
so that is more
re-up for Hellblade for a little bit, and then
I don't say that would be the state of Xbox at like fully. I would say that's just the state of 2024 video games.
Yeah, but I feel
it's
like
still rough on Xbox end with software. Yes.
Yeah, but I would say if you're looking at PlayStation without, you know, PlayStation Plus not really being a big deal, like you've already had Helldivers 2, and you've had
but you would need
Stellar
Plus
Blade.
to play that.
Hmm?
Helldivers, you would have to have Plus to play it.
Yeah, but like from a subscription standpoint of just like the catalog subscriptions, you know, you just need the baseline prescription for Helldivers 2. At least PlayStation does have third-party games that are kind of coming out. Xbox right now doesn't really have the first-party input, and also if you look at third-party stuff, that is where you look at like the state of you know the gaming industry this year, is because Xbox really hasn't had any big third-party stuff move the needle either.
Right.
When we'll get to like what Xbox is gonna
you could argue right now near the mid July of 2024 that tentatively in the game of the year is Helldivers.
Yeah. Helldivers is game of the year, and
and the next closest thing that I think would give it a run for its money is Elden Ring DLC.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. And you look at the rest of the year, and you're like, I'm not seeing anything that sticks out that can really contend with that. But yeah, those are the Circana number. PlayStation led all hardware sales for that month as well. So PlayStation's doing well. And apparently, the PlayStation Portal is exceeding expectations for PlayStation and was like the best-selling accessory for the month of May. And that is with very limited availability in stores and through PlayStation Direct.
They've been doing
they can't keep that on the shelves.
Yeah, they've been doing some good firmware updates and stuff for that too. I'm starting to see about the ability to. One of the things I was hearing about it a lot is that you really couldn't take it outside your house. If you took it to a hotel and tried to remote, like let's say I took it to like Vegas and I tried to remote in from Vegas to Detroit, I couldn't because it didn't have a
browser to open up
an external browser. Now it does.
Yeah.
So now they've been actually non-Sony supporting this, which is different.
It's the thing. Sony will support it if it's actually selling well.
Yeah.
And it is selling well, so they're like, oh, let's keep doing this. What if it had features people wanted? How much will it sell?
Yeah, I've been hearing. I mean, like for the most part, I'm hearing positive feedback about it. Again, I don't feel like it currently right now it fits into the niche of what I need. My ROG can do that, but my ROG is also significantly more expensive than a PlayStation Portal, but I already have it. And so, and my ROG can do it better if I wanted to do it. And my ROG can do whatever the Portal can do better.
Yeah, just a matter of just some of the controller features.
Correct. Yeah. So, but it fits into that more of a need of a scenario of like I don't have one TV in my house. Like if Angela is like knee deep in homework and she wants to watch TV and spread her homework out on the couch, and I want to play whatever I want to play, I'm not lazy. I can pick up a console, unhook an HDMI and a plug cable, and move it to a different part of the house.
My thing is like because it relies on a PS5 to run it, I need a second PS5 more than I need a PlayStation Portal.
Yeah. So.
But I won't pick one up because I feel like it's still $50 too expensive.
Yeah, I agree. Especially if you're going to spend $300. To your point, just buy a $400 digital console.
Yeah, and that's honestly options that I potentially you're looking at. Of just say, oh, you know, get a second one, get a digital one, and run that. Yep. As opposed to getting a Portal. But I'm still waiting for that Pro. I'm waiting for that Pro to come out.
Yeah, it's supposed to be this holiday, right?
I think so. I mean, that's everyone keeps pointing to it, but I feel like your 90-day window is very important for a console.
For a $600 box, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, waiting for that. But yeah, we'll move on to the next story. I mean, congrats PlayStation and Ghost of
absolutely.
Tsushima.
Keep doing more. Keep it going.
Just
make that time window smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller.
And just because we like talking about like money and like like why companies do these sort of things. When Ratchet and Clank or Insomniac had those leaks come out, it came out that Ratchet and Clank cost like $2.5 to $5 million to port to PC. So you're looking at that kind of being the budget for those PC ports, to where if you look at Ghost being number one on NPDs, that means they made that money back tenfold for the investment. So it's good on them, and we'll hopefully see more. And hopefully this means that gap from PS5 release to PC gets smaller and smaller. I feel like we'll see that more as like PS5 hardware sales stagnate.
Yeah, it'll be very, very interesting to see Concord, because now we might have a Helldivers 2 and Concord in the same physical year, possibly the same physical year for Sony, same actual year. And if that's moving, then like we know it's a straight fact. Helldivers is being played more on PC than on console. On PlayStation, and then it's to the point where, like, I would assume Concord will probably be, if similar, close, if not still more on PC than on PlayStation, just because your built-in install base is just ridiculous. But along with PlayStation's install base, yes, like I'm aware. So I'll be very curious to see some of those beta numbers or alpha numbers or whatever, which is like next week, which I gotta either I gotta pre-order or I gotta Palmer or somebody send me a code. Somebody pre-ordered already and get like 4 codes. Like, DM me.
But I will say Concord is getting a lot of hate off just 1 or 2 trailers.
Yeah.
So
but I think some of the impressions that people had was a little bit better. I think Sony had some hands-on people a couple weeks ago, and I think it was a little better.
A little bit better off those initial trailer.
It's $40.
Reactions.
Like, I can pre-order it and pay and play, and I've spent way more money on games that I haven't played. So
yeah, it's one of those things though, to where, like, I feel like if Jim Ryan was still in charge, if Concord is a outright failure, he'd be like, throw away the day 1 release thing. So I feel like even if Concord is a failure, they're still going to look to tighten up that PS5 to PC launch
absolutely
stuff. I feel like we're kind of beyond the days where PlayStation's very reactionary towards things. Like they might be a little bit more calm, cool, and collected with the new people in charge.
Mm-hmm.
But let's move on to the thing that we talked about this a couple months ago. I think this is where we ended up, except I was saying, like, yeah, they're probably going to redo the tiers. And you're like, they're going to increase the price, maybe not redo the tiers. Yep. They're doing both. So Xbox is increasing the price for all the Game Pass tiers, and also kind of making it just a little confusing. This was fun. Finding websites that actually had the news correct.
Yeah.
And didn't have a bunch of edits on it. Even the Xbox website, they had to edit the news article multiple times. But yeah, all right, I'm going to go through this based on how I have the notes, and I might even have something wrong because I looked on websites that also weren't confident in this new system. But yeah, Xbox Game Pass Ultimate will see a price increase from $16.99 to $19.99. Xbox Game Pass PC will increase from $9.99 to $11.99. And then here's where it gets kind of confusing. Xbox Game Pass for consoles will be retired, though users actively subscribed to that tier can continue this tier until they turn off auto renewal or their subscription runs out. Xbox will be replacing this tier with Xbox Game Pass Standard, which will run $14.99, come with the back catalog of games, Xbox Live, but no day 1 releases, EA Play, or cloud streaming.
Mm-hmm.
So Xbox Game Pass Standard will be replacing Xbox Game Pass for consoles, but Game Pass for consoles is being retired to new users. Clear? Kind of.
No, but all this tells me is that, similar to what, like, this is also on the heels of the Amazon Prime or the Amazon Fire Stick thing. Like,
yes,
they just don't care about the box.
They're confident that they're going to get subscribers.
Yeah.
And then finally, Xbox Game Pass Core will have its annual price increase from $60 to $74.99. This tier is the tier that is basically Xbox Live Gold with a catalog of 25 games.
Which is very close to the price of Basic Plus, correct? I think that's $69.99.
I believe so. I think this is the more egregious price increase.
Yes, I would
benefits
agree. They don't want you to get this.
No, not at all. Which I kill it.
Right.
kill it with fire.
Yeah. Well, no,
point.
but it's just one of those things of like, oh, you want that? Okay, here. This is how much this costs. Oh, I don't want to pay that. Okay, well, we have this. Well, I don't want that. Okay, well, then you pay this. Like, that's what they're doing. They're like, oh, you're saying that you have to have a core version. Okay, here you go.
I still think like
this is gonna be a pack in for everything now. This is the 90-day like free trial you get is core.
Yeah, I would say this bottom tier Xbox Game Pass core is horribly disrespectful to the players subscribing to it, especially in comparison to PlayStation Plus Essential, which, yes, it's only 3 games, but they've been having some amazing games on that Essential tier almost every month.
Yeah, the only thing that I would say is better, like quote unquote better for Game Pass Core, is that the 25 built-in catalog, and if that you have those 25 versus like I'm talking about as a possibly a brand new Xbox subscriber, the 25 games versus if you turn on Plus today, PS Plus Essential today, to your point, it's online play in 3 games, like whatever the July games are.
The thing is, like, they haven't been rotating too many games out of this core tier,
right?
And it becomes one of those things where it's like you got to look at that core tier and be like, I'm interested in 12 to 25 of those games, or if you're just like, I'm into one of these games.
What I'm curious about though is, what do you think the Amazon Fire Stick subscription is? Is it Game Pass PC?
No, I believe it's just Ultimate, because
no, like if you have a Fire Stick and you have a Bluetooth controller and you go to the Xbox interface on whenever it comes out,
it's out today. Okay. We can literally check this.
Is your option Ultimate?
I don't have I would have to check.
Yeah. Do you see what I'm saying though? Is it a PC or is it a console?
Let me see what they're actually, because I think technically it's Ultimate, because I think it's the
$11.99 price.
But the thing is, specifically when they talk about Ultimate, and this is the thing that Xbox did to themselves, where they made it very confusing with how they're doing this. But yeah, let me double check, Dave, if you want to make any more.
Well, because I'll tell you like how I feel about this right now, me personally. Okay, like, and I've said this a year ago. Like, I tangibly regret buying a Series X. I have a DVD player. I've lost internet recently and I can play stuff and I don't have a DVD player on my PlayStation. It is Ultimate. Okay.
Yep. Because Ultimate is the only tier that includes streaming now.
Correct.
You can't stream on the other tiers anymore.
Correct. Which makes yeah. But now it's for me with the PC that I have and the way that I am currently consuming Xbox's media along with PlayStation's media as well, I would probably just go down to Xbox Game Pass PC. I'm not using it on my phone enough. But the reality of it is I own a console and I have an 8-year-old. So I'm probably just going to stay with Ultimate. But I'm talking about just me, or, like it is what it is. Like I barely turn the Switch on, but Owen turns it on a lot. I don't really turn the Xbox is in Owen's bedroom.
Yeah.
Currently in Owen's bedroom right now, just like I talked about moving something into a room, and we put it in there because he plays his Minecraft and Fortnite and stuff like that on the Xbox. So like, but it is what it is. Like you have buyer's remorse or buyer's regret all the time. I've gone long stretches without turning my PlayStation on. Like I haven't really played a PlayStation game on my since before Mother's Day. Like I bought Final Shape. I bought Final Shape on PC. Go ahead.
Yeah, but no, and like for me, like we're talking about playing and watching later. The console I'm using the most is the PS3 and 360, and I feel like that is a direct correlation to the failure of this current generation.
Yeah. That
there's just nothing interesting me on those platforms.
Yeah. And I'm gonna play if I play Concord, I'm gonna play it on PC. I'm just more right now. Currently, I'm more comfortable sitting here. If I really want to sit on my couch, I can just plug my ROG Ally into my television and sit on my couch, and that works fine. And I have that option. I don't have that option with PlayStation. I'd have to haul it. I've tried to remote play PlayStation down here when it's directly above my head, and it sucks. With fiber internet. So
I also play the Switch. I was gonna say, the Switch is the only other console I play regularly.
So I mean, like it's interesting, but they're pushing more. Like we're getting closer and closer to what I've been talking about. Like you're just gonna buy an Xbox Puck.
Yeah, and I think that's what the Fire Stick thing is, of just like they don't want to go through making hardware right now, and they're hoping a Fire Stick will be that option for them. To where Amazon is probably giving them a deal for licensing.
They tried the Black Series X, which is supposed to be bigger space. Haven't heard them say a peep about it moving, so which leads me to believe it didn't. Which is fine.
I think it's up for pre-order right now.
I thought it was out.
Yeah, okay. I think it's coming soon.
Okay,
I want to say.
And so yes, PlayStation is moving hardware, but they're moving software better on PC.
Yeah, especially for old content.
Yeah. So it's in this weird lux, and ultimately, if you want to summarize, what do you got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You got 6 bullet points on here on Game Pass. I can summarize this whole thing for you right now, Michael. Call of Duty.
Well, this is the thing, where
gotta pay them bills, homie.
No, yeah, this is what happens when Call of Duty gets added, and it's I would imagine they looked at these numbers and they're like, okay, we're going say there's 25 million Xbox Series X's out there. They probably looked at that number and were like, okay, if we give Call of Duty to all those people, how much will it cost? Okay, cool. How much can we raise Game Pass to offset that cost that we're going to take, because the Call of Duty players are probably going to get it on Game Pass now. Right. It's one of those things where it's like they're looking at the sales that they're going to lose on Xbox and PC by bringing it to Game Pass.
Right. And they're making you spend $19.99 a month to play Call of Duty, which is a terrible consumer move, but a very smart business move.
Yeah, this is the same thing that happened when Netflix increased their prices earlier this year. They announced a week prior that they signed a $10 billion deal with WWE to bring Monday Night Raw and pay-per-views to Netflix.
Yep. Oh, by the way, we're going up in price because of that.
Yeah. They separated that news by just a couple weeks, but they are very much related. And also, Xbox is probably confident that this is going to be their best year for Game Pass for the next couple months, because they have like 3 or 4 games lined up, including Call of Duty. Because they have Avowed, they have Indiana Jones, and Call of Duty coming out ideally within the next 6 months, because they're supposed to be out this year. So this is one of those things where they're like, if we're going to increase our price, this is the time to do it, because this is when we actually have a catalog that we've been promising for all these years. Whether that's going to work out for them, I don't know. But I would imagine, though, now when I'm looking at Game Pass and it's starting to hit that price where I always knew it was going to get expensive as a product, but I feel like it's gotten expensive too fast, to where like the value proposition as a non-Call of Duty player has kind of hit for me, where when I do get Game Pass, I only get it in 1 month or 3 month increments, and I will probably continue to do that. Also with this is also something that people should look at is they're limiting stacking now to 13 months. So you can no longer stack.
I hate this.
Yeah, you can't stack multiple years, which probably means they already know when they're increasing the prices next over the next couple years, and they want to make sure that people aren't stacking multiple years and missing those
and
price increases.
The thing that sucks the most is I was looking at some of the, like, they've actually got Game Pass has got a decent July lineup. They got Flintlock coming. They got Dungeons of Hinterberg coming, which is something I loved from one of the I remember like watching one of the most recent reveals. Neon White. I mean, I'm looking at games that are confirmed for Game Pass. It's thin as you get into the rest of the year, though, with like Microsoft Flight Simulator, Black Ops 6, Stalker 2. And, you know, like,
I keep forgetting about Stalker.
Yeah, but I mean, looking here, like July, obviously July, we're in July, so they got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 games listed, which is a good chunk of games for a month. And then August only has 3, September has 4 or 5, and then October, November only. In December will have either 1 or none listed. To your point, though, like fall of 2024, Avowed, and then 2024. Indiana Jones, 33 Immortals, you know, like these are, and then early 2025, like there's some stuff like Doom, The Dark Age, Atomfall.
And at any point, though, they will be dropping those Activision Blizzard back catalog games.
Still hasn't come out?
Nope.
Silk Song? Nope. Okay.
And it's literally why you lost our
yeah.
our draft thing, because that was the one game that didn't come out. But like, and there's still a point where Xbox will be dropping those back catalog games from Activision Blizzard. I believe next month, or is it this month, that Spyro and Crash are supposed to hit.
It didn't show on this list of
Game
this link
Pass.
that I checked on, but I mean, it doesn't mean anything because they might not have like fully confirmed it or like said dates or times.
Yeah, but I believe Tony Hawk's coming within the next month or two. Crash, Spyro. So we're gonna probably start seeing those Call of Duty games come to Game Pass. So there is a value proposition coming. Putting the price increase before those games come is kind of, I don't know exactly how you do it and not look like a shitty company. Because if you increase the price right when those games come out, it looks greedy. But increasing the price right now before those games came out still looks greedy. So it's not a good look either way.
Yeah.
And they don't want to get accused of doing a gotcha of like, oh, look at all you Call of Duty players, you're paying more next month now. After they onboard a bunch of people. But yeah, I think we gave PlayStation a lot of shit because the 2 premium tiers, premium and extras tier, were not great value propositions at first glance, and the tiers were not confusing, but just a little weird. And then Xbox did the hold my beer moment and are like, we're going to make these tiers dumb, silly, and confusing, to where now we're going to have legacy tiers as well. We're like, that means like, Dave, if you're currently actively subscribed to that middle tier, I know you're not, but if you're subscribed to the OG middle tier, and
I don't even know what my price is because I don't have I mean, like now it's just gonna hit my bank account and it's probably gonna be $19.99.
But if you're on that tier that's been retired, you could be on it for the next year or two because you might have stacked it, or
indefinitely, as long as you don't turn off auto renew. They're saying, right?
Yeah. So you could be on that tier.
It's like my cell phone plan. I still got rollover minutes, bro.
That's weird.
I haven't changed in like 20 years. I didn't need to. I had unlimited data and unlimited minutes. Like,
it's one of the. That means you probably get a call from your cell phone provider every couple. of years
every time we try to upgrade phones. Every time we upgrade
switch?
phones, they're like, they're like, even the tech guys are like, hey, we need to upgrade your plan. I'm like, no. And then they look at my plan. They're like, oh yeah, no, I don't want to do that. Like, because they look at it and they're like, I had it back in the singular days, man.
But this is where it's going to get confusing. Where, say you're on Xbox Game Pass console, which is the OG tier, that is, just for Xbox, but it comes with day one releases.
Yep.
And then you recommend it to me.
What's your price? I don't even know what the price is. Like what? Like 14, 13?
It's 14. Yeah. $14.99. And then you're like, oh, get the $14.99 one because Call of Duty's coming out. I get that tier, and I'm like, I don't have access to Call of Duty.
Right.
And you're like, well, that's weird because I do.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, I don't know how to get Call of Duty for the $14.99 tier, and it's like, oh, I can't because
I think that they're gonna. I hate to say this, like they're gonna do this through Call of Duty, and then this is all gonna get realigned again in February, March next year.
Yeah, no, and I think that's why they also aren't letting people stack past 13 months is because they already plan the next price hikes and the next rebalance, because it makes it easier to rebalance if people can't stack for multiple years. Because you were hearing about people that had Ultimate stacked for multiple years.
Well, I knew people still that did the conversion before Game Pass was a thing, that they took live and made it Ultimate or something.
Yeah, which was also confusing
for $1.
You had people updating their subscriptions to live that they stacked for multiple years.
I mean, if you ask other people, you can just go buy a can of Pringles and play Game Pass for free. But I don't know where they buy their Pringles at because I never see that. So.
I think it's Mountain Dew too. Mountain Dew, you can
currently
Game Pass. Yeah, it's only certain bottles.
Oh.
They just partnered with Final Fantasy, and they made you buy the bottles that had Xbox logos on them.
Okay.
But when you go to the Mountain Dew website, I know this because Final Fantasy Mountain Dew, we have a Final Fantasy 14 player in this house. If you go to that website, they're like, hey, do you want Game Pass Ultimate for a couple bottle caps?
It's just the nature of what Microsoft does. I have a Windows-based computer at work, and when I switch desktops, it's like, hey, play games with Xbox Game Pass. I'm like, I can't even, like, I don't even think this PC that's like the size of my palm can play a game. But it's built into their infrastructure. Like, this is what they've done with Adobe. This is what they've done with like all this stuff. Like, this is Microsoft. People that are surprised that they're doing this with gaming haven't been paying attention to what Microsoft has done for the last 20 plus years.
Yeah, I will say what this is going to make me do. I'm not subscribed to Game Pass right now, but I'm going to hit up CD keys and get a couple 3-month keys that are already on sale because the changes haven't been in effect yet. So I'm definitely going to have to take advantage and get the next 6 months because I do kind of want to check out Avowed and check out Indiana Jones. So yeah, I'm probably gonna stack up a couple months while I still can.
They're just ramping up and getting ready for this holiday Call of Duty marketing. Play it on Game Pass, and I'm just waiting to hear. I'm waiting to hear the. I don't even know what it's gonna be. Play it 72 hours early on Game Pass. Like it's gonna be something. Like there's gonna be Microsoft owns this company. There's gonna be a benefit to Microsoft to Xbox players.
I have a feeling we won't see that because then PlayStation's going to do the thing where they point to the screen and be like, that's unfair. And I think this Call of Duty Xbox is going to be very well behaved in terms of perks that Call of Duty players get on Xbox. I think it's the next couple Call of Duty games that you have to watch out for on that. Because I would imagine they know how political sphere works. They're only going to pay attention to the stuff right now, and then they'll forget about it. They're going to be like, "Oh, it's fine. We don't have to return to this ever again."
There's a lot going on in October, November that other people will be paying attention to. Just saying.
They could do that, but I feel like our current political system, not to get into it, with important shit actually happening, would be like, let's spend time on this bullshit video game stuff to distract people.
You're not wrong. So.
Yeah. So like this is the year.
It'd be like Wag the Dog all over again.
Yeah, it's not a. Please,
I need to watch
Xbox,
that
don't
movie
do this.
again. Especially after like as much as that's sorry. I need to watch that movie again.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, please, Xbox, don't fuck up our political stuff more by releasing
the day before Election Day. The FCC is meeting to discuss practices of Call of Duty's launch.
Yeah. Oh God, I can see it now. Oh, I would be so pissed. Phil Spencer, for the love of God, be behaved. I don't need this bullshit to take over the political system in election season. Though it would make some of the debates...
Dan Rather reporting live from in front of Seattle studio.
This would make the presidential debates a little bit more entertaining because then the candidates would need to have a Call of Duty stance.
The people older than my parents have to talk about video games. That'd be great.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry.
And it'd be like, okay, which candidate's going to think we're talking about actual war?
Jesus
okay.
All right.
That's it there.
What's delayed?
That's it for news. Okay. So what's delayed is still Fallout London. So this one I just bring up because the devs had to say like, hey, we're still working on getting this game out. And we've determined that if you have Fallout 4 and you updated it to the next gen patch on PC, because it's only on PC, you're going to have to downgrade your copy of the game because the PC patch or the next gen update is too unstable for us to run a mod on.
So forgive my ignorance. I don't play a lot of PC. I do play a PC, but not long term.
You don't dick around with the PC.
How do you downgrade?
It would be, you can either put different files into your folders and go that way, or you could kind of do on console where it's like you download the game and then you stop it from being patched. You just make sure it doesn't patch itself. So
okay.
There's way around it. You just would uninstall the game, reinstall it, and then just not patch it.
But usually when you reinstall it and install the most recent version?
You would think, but not all the time.
Okay.
Depending on how the game is
I said at the beginning, forgive my ignorance.
No. This isn't like, there's been times where even if they do update the files in like Steam or wherever you're getting the game from.
I just wondered, does like the update bar go in like reverse?
No. But it is one of those things where Dave's laughing, but it was a serious question because I saw his eyes right now. It was a serious question. It's a mini game that you have to like constantly like click little things. You have to like click the Pip-Boy. But no, it is something that people are gonna just have to downgrade their version if they want this because Bethesda cannot fucking patch their games correctly. Or they just don't.
With Microsoft money, for the record.
Yeah, they just can't. I guess they can't play test their shit. So basically, Fallout London was supposed to come out April 23rd, but they've had to delay it multiple times since then because Bethesda can't fucking patch their games. So yeah, The good thing is, I don't think I've ever updated my copy of Fallout 4, so I should be all good. I should be all good to play this whenever it comes out.
Because this is only on PC, though, right?
Yeah, it's only on PC.
Okay.
And also, I have a feeling Bethesda's in no hurry to fix this issue on the next gen update for this mod, because they've never really fully supported this sort of mod, because
they're like, oh, darn.
Yeah, they're like, oh, darn, a thing we don't support doesn't work. What a shame. Because Bethesda is like, one, people think this could be better than a Bethesda game, and they're petty like that. And two, I believe Todd Howard's gone on record of like, I don't care about the Fallout world outside of the US, basically. Like he's very much as this is US focused game, so the idea of a mod in London just doesn't interest that studio enough for them to care. But yeah, we'll see what happens with that when it eventually comes out, because I'm still interested in that. My PC should be able to run it because I don't have to update to the latest version of Fallout 4.
33.5 frames per second. Go.
I'm pretty sure I can get a solid 60 out of that. But yeah.
It's a Bethesda game, though, so it's a solid like 47, right?
That depends if you have what textures you have, Dave. But yeah, that is what is delayed. I'm sure there was other stuff, but that's the only thing that caught my attention.
Yeah. All right, so what we're planning on watching again, I'm just trying to like have some fun, and we did some adulting stuff. So one of my days off was spent the entire day outside. We redid a lot of our garden beds. I should actually post pictures of that so people can see. But yeah, we worked on that. Like I had to do some like cultivating and weeding and tilling and like like landscaping fabric and wood chips and everything. So
I like taking care of my plants too, but like that's how you know we're old, Dave.
Yeah, no, it looks great though. It looks cool. It's what Angela wanted, and it's like in the end result is awesome. But man, my body was sore that day. And then Tuesday, like today,
taking out the knee pads.
No, but I need to buy them.
Okay,
I will be buying them at work. Yep, I learned that lesson. Yeah. So, and then to top it all off, on Tuesday,
Dave is old.
Yeah, well, for the record, on Tuesday I played 2 sets of doubleheader softball. So I played a game at 6:10 and 7:15, 7:20, and then I played another set of games at like 8:30 and 9:45. And then I came home and cried in the shower and went to sleep and went to work the next day.
Got that icy hot. And
no, I didn't use any of that.
Ibuprofen?
No.
Okay.
I take a pre-arthritic knee pill now.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there you go, Dave.
Which probably is some kind of anti-inflammatory, which is ibuprofen.
It's probably just like extra.
Yeah. So that was significantly 2 of my days. I did today, before we recorded, Netflix released the new Receiver show, which is a continuation sequel to the quarterback episode from the quarterback series from last year. This is on like the quarterback one that was on like Kirk Cousins and Pat Mahomes, and then now this is Receivers, which is Justin Jefferson, Deebo Samuel, tight end George Kittle, Lions receiver Amon-Ra St. Brown, and there's somebody Devontae Adams. So I watched episode 1 of that today before we recorded, partially because this is like probably the window that the Lions are actually going to be like good to great. So paying attention to them is super important. And baseball is really, really boring right now. So, but the first episode was, I thought was pretty good. Getting to know I liked the quarterback series. I know a lot of people didn't, with Desmond Ridder and Mahomes and Kirk Cousins and some other people. But so now this one kind of moved obviously to receivers, because I think they couldn't get any other quarterbacks to do it. So, but that's on Netflix. I really recommend that. We went and saw Inside Out 2 at the movies with Angela, Owen, and myself. Went to see Inside Out 2. I really enjoyed that movie. I don't recall seeing the first one, so I do need to watch that. But it's kind of cool for Owen to be at this age where he can, like sit and watch watch movies and have like not full conversations, but actually like very interesting like 8-year-old thoughts. And putting that together, and inadvertently, I think Angela left and we were killing some time. And usually Owen doesn't pay attention when I put stuff on TV. He's like playing on the Switch or playing on his phone. But he paid attention and watched all of Major League 2 with me. that I just watched off Netflix. I don't know if he should have watched that when he's 8.
That's a good movie to be quoting in school.
Yeah.
Good thing summer break.
We'll see how that goes later. But yeah, that's kind of just how it's been. Like for me right now, I'm getting more and more excited for college football next week. I'm trying to talk myself out of buying the $100 version for 3-day early access, because I'd be essentially paying $10 a day for 3-day earlier access. Because I really don't think I'll do anything with the Ultimate Team stuff at all. And then at the same time, I'm even trying to talk myself out of the $150 version, because it comes with Madden also, and I won't play Madden. So I just need to just pull the trigger and spend the $70 and then just wait. There is a online dynasty, or potentially an online dynasty in our Discord. There is a college football channel in the Discord. It does have some decent activity in it periodically. I've got a poll up there for interest in online dynasty and platforms. It doesn't have crossplay with dynasty, which kind of sucks. And it is only on the next gen console, so only on Xbox Series and PS5. It is not on PC. So that comes out. You said no
crossplay on Dynasty
for
mode, which is
Dynasty.
The main,
yeah.
Which is like the main thing everyone's going to be wanting to do.
Yeah, like I think primarily people will be playing offline Dynasty, online Dynasty, and Road to Glory. Those are like, I think that'll be where the primary things are. I don't really see. I mean, it'd be cool just to like randomly play against a buddy of mine on Xbox, like I'm just a user, just a user versus game. But that would be the only time I think that crossplay would function in there. But yeah, that is pretty much my week since we recorded.
For me, it's been watching a lot of random TV shows, so like House of the Dragon and The Boys. The last Boys episode was fucking crazy and hilarious, as The Boys tends to be. So yeah, just been watching that, knowing that the show only has like I think 2 more episodes in a season, and then 1 season after this before it ends. The show definitely feels like it's like ramping up in a nice way, because that means I think there's only like 10 episodes in that show's like run left. So enjoying that, looking forward to the episodes. I still can't remember exactly what day that show releases, so every time I see a new episode, I'm like surprised, like, oh shit, new episode. And I can easily solve this with a Google search, but I just refuse. So watching a lot of TV. I've been messing with the random Switch games, just trying to find something on a platform that isn't just my go-to puzzle games to kill time. Doing video game collecting, as I always do, because I've turned into that person. And then I am playing Lollipop Chainsaw, just because with the remake coming out, I'm just like, let me just play the game that I have never had a chance to finish back in the day and see if it holds up. And I'm surprised that 1, it holds up, and 2, that it's being remade, given that the humor is very much humor from 2012, specifically Suda51 and James Gunn humor in 2012. So playing that, there's definitely been several moments where I laugh out loud, and then also moments where I'm like, oh shit, I don't know if that joke's gonna run in 2024. Which I hate that my brain goes to that when I'm playing something like this, but it's one of those things where I'm just like, I wonder if they're going to tweak some of that humor just a little bit. Or if anything, some of that from a gameplay element. But playing it, the original game right now, I've been reminded how good that soundtrack is. The licensed music, along with like the original score. And knowing that the remake is not going to have much of that licensed music is kind of a bummer. So I hope the music they're replacing with the music they're replacing that licensed music with, I hope it's good, because it did add a decent amount to that game, some of that licensed music. Mm-hmm. Gameplay wise, I think the remake shouldn't be able to mess it up, because the original gameplay, I feel like didn't need a ton of tweaks. So I'm optimistic that this remake won't be terrible outside of potential soundtrack issues. But yeah, if you can get a copy of Lollipop Chainsaw on the PS3 or 360, I do recommend picking it up, because it is still fun, still holds up. It runs decently well, considering how old it is. I mean, we're talking about a game that's...
You're setting yourself up for disappointment, though, man. Like, whatever this remake's going to be is just not... You're playing so close to the new one, or it's just...
Oh, and that's why I wanted to do this, because, like, I will probably pick up the remake, but it might not be something I pick up right away.
Right.
I will wait for reviews on it. It kind of sucks though because it's going to be a limited run game in the U.S., so I will probably have to pick it up digitally or pre-order the limited run copy early, regardless of what the reviews say. But overall, like I would say, like it is still worth seeking out, worth getting. I was kind of bummed because there are like costumes and stuff like that, like DLC that was pre-ordered DLC that's not attainable anymore for those original versions. But I'm assuming all that will be in the remake or the repop edition for that game. But yeah, playing that, enjoying the hell out of that. I'm on the last level, so I will probably have that wrapped up and then move on to another old game from my pile of old games. But yeah, no, that's pretty much it. Again, playing PS3 and 360 games right now is kind of a sign of where I'm at with new releases because there just hasn't been anything new that has released this year that has kept my interest. Nintendo has released a fair amount of like decent games, but I noticed with most Nintendo games, I pick them up and I finish them relatively quick, and then I move on with my life. There's not many Nintendo games that I'm like constantly coming back to, unless we're talking about like a simple puzzle game.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like Tetris 99 will be my forever game as long as they keep those servers running. But all the other games, you know, like the Pikmin games, those are one and done for me. The Mario RPG, the Paper Mario games, those are all one and done games. I have no intention to replay those games. I don't know how you are with like Mario games and stuff like that, but I'm very one and done when it comes to like those Mario games.
For the most part, like I won't be like going back and like replaying like PC or Paper Mario like once I complete it.
Yeah, like I don't know what it is. Like I've played Uncharted 2 like 30 times, but like those Mario games, I played them once and I never have an intention to like go back to them. So yeah, just continuing to just like mess with random stuff on a Switch and then random stuff in my back catalog, which keeps growing. I cataloged all my video games in an app and like scanned all the barcodes so that I can have an itemized list. So when I go out looking for games, I know exactly what I own. Surprisingly, Dave, I went to a GameStop to look for retro games, and I was surprised they had a shit ton of PS3 and 360 games. They just didn't have them on the shelves. I had to ask them, and they were like, "Yeah, we have like 3 drawers full of 360 and PS3 games. Here's a list of all the games we have printed out, and if there's anything you want, we'll go look at our drawers and cases to see what we have." So I hit up a GameStop and found a couple Ratchet and Clank PS3 games and some 360 games, and was able to get a good deal because they were doing their buy 2 get 1 free for pre-owned games. So hey, if you're looking for old games, GameStop apparently is decent now for retro games. You just have to ask about them because they don't put them on the shelves consistently, which makes sense because they're old games and they probably just take up too much space, but they do have them if you ask. So yeah, I might be hitting up GameStops more just to see what random old games they have, and they also tend to be really reasonably priced, surprisingly. So yeah, that is what I've been doing.
Nice.
Bothering people at GameStop to go on the back and find me old games.
You're that guy, huh?
It's funny though, because like this one, the drawers were like behind a register, but they still printed out like 4 sheets of paper for me that had a list of all the games in the drawers, and I was just like, "Can you?" I just wanted to just go back there and just look through them. Like, why waste the paper? Like they had to find paper for their printer. For me to get a printed list.
That's funny.
Because I guess I was the only one that asked for a list of those games before.
Jeez.
So yeah, that is what I have been doing.
All right. That is our show for this week. Oh, I take it back. Hang on. Somebody did actually put a question on one of the tweets that I just saw. That was kind of what I was looking at. Where'd it go? Okay. So Core Chris on Twitter responded, what are your hopes for Concord, and are you playing the closed beta / pre-order beta? Have a great show. I will listen tomorrow. So I guess from the hero shooter standpoint, I think we've kind of talked about this, but from the hero shooter standpoint, like Michael, like what are your hopes, and are you going to play it, the beta?
Honestly, I'm not interested in the game based off any of the stuff that they showed related to that story trailer. I do usually give hero shooters a chance. They're kind of like, you give looter shooters a chance. I tend to give like hero shooters a chance. So I might check it out. Me and Dave might have to talk. This might be just something we both pre-order with TDG funds just for science. But yeah, I'm gonna give it a chance. I'm not optimistic on it because there was nothing in that initial trailer and gameplay trailer that like, there were things that I thought were interesting, but not enough for me to be like, yes, I'm going to do this and jump into it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've really never delved into, like, I downloaded the finals, never played it. I don't even know if I classify the finals as a hero shooter.
No.
The Overwatch, we used to watch and see stuff, and then I know Johnny's a boy played it a lot, and like I tried it, I think a very little bit, if at all.
Yeah, I think I played like a couple rounds with you, and you literally went back to Destiny like after an hour.
But I am willing one way or another. I have a couple Twitter DMs out right now of some people that have sent me some codes, and most of them I'm trying to figure out. I've got a code, and I'm trying to figure out if can I download it for PC beta versus PS5 beta. But to your point, if I just need to pre-order it, then we'll pre-order it. The funds are in the accounts. There's a lot of Destiny people that worked on this game, and there are a lot of Destiny people that are currently working on this game. And if the shooting feels good, I think that I can, old man is old, like we just talked about with all like my yard work and my, my knees and aching me. But if it's a Twitch style shooter, like I can't, like that much PvP, I don't think I can keep up with it. But if it's a strategic thing with solid gunplay that maybe doesn't have I don't want a slow time to kill, but I don't want like an off the wall like 0.5 second time to kill. Like if there's actual strategy and teams and having fun, like I will definitely play this, but the shooting has to feel right.
I'm in the point where this may sound like sheep mentality, herd mentality, but I have commitment issues when it comes to multiplayer games, where I don't want to commit to this game just to have the community abandon it, which is why I'm kind of like in a wait and see mentality.
That's a valid concern. Yes.
People.
I love this, but nobody's playing it, so I can't play it. So
people abandoned the finals. People abandoned Overwatch 2. People abandoned. We were just talking about like X Defiant was doing really well, but then X Defiant kind of hit the wall recently, to where even the head of that studio was like, oh, if you can't deal with the bugs, just stop playing. Like, fucking wild statement to have someone say from a studio.
And this is a new studio too, like this super I'm gonna mess it up.
I will look them
Firewalk.
up, because they're one of the Firewalk.
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 Like, so this is, they're new. Like this is like, so they, this beta is very, very important to them, and how they respond to this beta and how they look at feedback. They're setting the potential up for, your like how they're going to perceive and patch and balance their game based on a lot of this stuff. So this is a make or break weekend. And the biggest thing that Core Chris mentioned too, like it's this weekend. Like I didn't realize it. Like today's July 10th. It is July 12th, 13th, and 14th is when the beta is. And I'm off on the 13th, so I definitely need to probably get my hands on this and play. And if you're playing and you're hearing this, like, please, if you're not in the Discord, you have ways to contact me. Like, I would love to group up. I do not want to necessarily play this game solo, so and if you want to see a stream of it, and I could possibly be able to stream it on Saturday, just to play and see and figure it out and work the kinks out. So I just did not realize that Concord was this weekend, so.
Yeah, I didn't know either, which means I might have to just pre-order it and just get it out of the way. Yeah.
So, all right. But like I said, that's our show. You can send us questions using hashtag AskDigitalDays. You can post them in Discord in the Ask Digital Days channel. You can just tweet them directly at us with the hashtag. You can post them on Facebook. You don't have to. You can just send them to us in a message. However you want to connect with us. You can follow the main account at Digital Days Pod. You can follow Michael at the First MJC. You can follow myself at Good Dave Hunt. You can join the Facebook group, Discord server, Patreon. All of that is linked in the show notes. Please consider checking that out. And again, as a reminder, if you want to play Concord, please post in the Discord, post on the Facebook group. I will direct you to the Discord where the voice channels just work so much better. If you want to play college football, we've got a Discord channel for that as well. Let me know, and we'll work through that. And hopefully these games are gonna have some fun and some staying power, and at least get us through to Labor Day.
Yeah.
So other than that, that's all I got. I hope everyone has a fantastic week and keep moving forward.
Don't be a dick. See ya. All right.
226. Why did you put the E next to it, or did I do that?
No,
I must have done that. So, like inadvertently, So. All right. Cool. All right. For those of you that are still hanging out in the live stream, appreciate you guys hanging out, commenting, chilling, hanging. You guys have a great evening. We'll talk to you later.